Hey guys, welcome back to Young and Unscripted. Where do I begin? This week marks the second year anniversary for Young and Unscripted, which is insane to say. Can we get a little round of applause? That's honestly insane. So let me give you a quick rundown of how this week is going to pan out for you guys. So each of us, myself, Naomi, and Panya, are going to be doing our reflections on Act 2, how we found the year, what we've achieved, and what we hope to show you guys for Act 3. We're going to be talking about that in our own separate videos because obviously each of us have a different niche. So expect 3 videos this week. It's going to be quite full on, but I think it's a really nice way to wrap up Act 2 and we can all give our own personal opinions. And then I guess after that, we'll see you in Act 3, which is so insane to say because I know I talk about this story all the time, but I remember us literally being at Nando's 2 years ago talking about the potential of starting a podcast, but really it was just doing an episode, and now it's turned into a 2-year strong podcast. We've had the best time, and obviously we have no plans to stop it. We're definitely going to keep going. So yeah, it's been amazing, and keep an eye out for this week. We're also planning to do another sports day because I know that was a hit last year, so we want to do that again this year for you guys so that we can all celebrate together in the summer, in the sun, and have a good time. So I feel like we should start by just talking about the year, what we've learned, everything that's happened. I think if we go straight back to the start, the beginning of Act 2, I think our first episode was with Roy Williams, which is insane to say. I feel like that really set the tone for Act 2. I feel like in Act 1, it was very much us kind of finding our way in the podcast space and wanting to know what to talk about. If you are new here, then a bit of context. We started this podcast as a way to track our journeys. And then obviously Panya moved to LA, and the acting industry can be quite stagnant sometimes. You can have lots of months where you're not really doing much. So we felt like when we were talking, we firstly couldn't have videos all together because, as I said, Panya moved to LA, and then we then also just didn't feel like there was much for us to talk about because about our careers, because it was sort of at a place where we were like, nothing's happening, auditioning, but not much was happening, and we talked about that a lot. So we were like, we need to bring in new voices. And then we started to have on guests, and then after that we sort of decided that that's what we really enjoy doing, and then we wanted to have our 3 niches. So Act 2 essentially started with myself having the niche of interviews, Naomi having the niche of solving your guys' dilemmas, and Panya having the niche of getting your mind, body, and soul ready for the industry. So yeah, we started with Roy Williams, which was just incredible. I feel like, as I said, that really set the tone for Act 2. He was such an amazing person to talk to, and I love his plays. I think he's an incredible playwright. So it was amazing to just have the chance to talk to him. And then I'm pretty sure that the video after that, or 2 videos after that, we went to the BBTAs, which I know that myself and Naomi will both agree that that has been one of the highlights over the past few years. And I'm so sad that it's not happening this year because honestly, the BBTAs was just such an incredible vibe. And I think, of course, like, it was just an amazing space to be with so many different creatives and to be in that world. It was incredible. But I actually think that it kind of lit a spark in us, in where we could potentially take the podcast. And I think that's sort of what lit the flame for my niche and wanting to do interviews, because not only did we really enjoy it, but I think it got received really well by you guys. So we kind of thought, okay, so we need to be leaving the studio. We need to try and find new places to be able to talk to people and new ways to get those interviews in so that you guys are still enjoying the content. And actually, we were hit with a huge dilemma, which we knew about at the end of Act 1, but it didn't kind of come into fruition until Act 2. And that was that our podcast studio shut down. So we were sort of like, okay, what are we going to do? And then we came up with the idea of having niches. And as much as I am sad that Creators House went, because we really wouldn't be anything without Creators House, and we owe everything to Creators House, and so thankful for it. But actually, it was sort of, in a way, not a blessing in disguise. I wouldn't say it's a blessing because, it was a great place, but as one door closes, another one opens. And I feel like that was very, very much rang true for us when that experience happened, because we were then forced to find a way to keep the podcast going. And from that, I was then having conversations with other creatives, and I knew that kind of the end goal, for me at least, for my niche, was I really wanted to be able to get onto the red carpet, interview people, like sort of BBTA style. Like I really, really enjoyed that. So I started reaching out to theatres, and from that, we have created a really beautiful relationship with the Royal Court Theatre, and we have been invited to a few of their press nights, which I've loved. But not only that, we went in, the first thing we did with them was we were invited to interview the writers of the Open Submissions Festival, and that was incredible. Loved that. And then from that, we got invited to press nights, which, who doesn't want to get invited to press nights? You get to go and watch, for us as actors, to go and watch theatre, and also just being able to talk to the creatives afterwards. I mean, it was just a dream come true. And I definitely think for Act 3, the aim is to obviously build on that relationship, and we're definitely going to have that relationship with the Royal Court. So firstly, I just want to say out here, thank you so much to the Royal Court for believing in us, letting us come in, for allowing us to come to your press nights. It's honestly just been such a dream, and we've loved working with you. But obviously for Act 3, I hope to expand that relationship with other theatres and be able to go to lots of different theatres and see lots of new works. I know each theatre has a specific style of show that they put on. Obviously the Royal Court is very much new writing, it's very much the writers' theatre. So I am definitely interested to see how we can develop those relationships and see what theatres we can connect with in Act 3. So I feel like that for me has been my highlight, and I think it's very much, and a thing that I will say, something that I got from Alamede when we had Alamede on, which I think we had Alamede on in Act 1, but she was very much like, shoot your shot. And I think sometimes it can feel really daunting to do so, because you can sort of feel like, okay, I'm gonna message these people, I'm gonna do this, do that. But sometimes you can feel like, oh, I'm not getting anything back. It just feels like I'm emailing these people and they're almost like laughing on the other end. But actually, by shooting my shot, and but obviously I had to support that with evidence. Like I wasn't just emailing people being like, hey, let me come to your theatre and let me come to your press night. But it was more like, this is who I am, this is what I can offer. Like, know your brand, know who you are, know what you can offer people, and have your pitch deck ready. And it was sort of that, like, this is what we can offer, this is what we do, this is who we've had on, we'd love the opportunity to come to your theatre. And I just feel like by shooting our short, we've been able to do some really incredible things. So I definitely think going into Act 3, and something I've learned from Act 2, is just to continue to shoot your shot and send that email, because you never know what's going to happen. And I feel like as a creative, we're so used to being on our emails anyway, waiting for the next email to come up, and we're so used to sending emails. Then what's a few more emails going to do? Like, it's not going to harm anyone. If you don't hear anything back, fine, okay, on to the next. I feel like we can't really talk about Act 2 and not talk about Cannes Film Festival, because we went in May, and oh my goodness, what an experience it was. It was a whirlwind in the best way possible. And I would say it actually probably wasn't what we expected, but I think that was for the best. And I know that we said we were going to do a sit down video to talk about it, and we haven't done so. So I think it's only right that I talk to you guys about it. So We went to Cannes Film Festival in May. We don't even really know where to begin. It's a super intense experience, I would say that. And this is just going to sound super naive of me, but I think it is kind of important to talk about. I think that you sort of think you're going to go to Cannes, watch one or two movies in the day, but really the main movie you think you're going to go to is the premiere in the evening. And then you kind of just expect like party, party, party event, which, yes, that can happen. But there, this sounds so silly, but there are so many movies that you really could be watching about 5 films a day, and it all depends on what you want and what your experience to be. Because 100%, if you want your experience to be just purely networking, there are so many events that you can go to. If you want your experience to be watching the movies, there's so many movies you can watch. And I do want to say, don't worry if you don't get the movies at first. I think that's something that Naomi and myself were really worried about at first, because if you've been to Cannes before, you'll know. If you haven't, then here's a little bit of insight. There's essentially a portal for everybody who's going to Cannes, and it opens, I want to say, 4 days before the day of the film. Your portal will open at 7 a.m. and it's sort of like the Hunger Games. Like you log on and you like all of the films are presented in front of you, and you have to click on to press the film or select the film that you want to go and watch, and that happens each day. So then if you go on the 18th, it will be on like the 15th that it opens, and so on. So it all depends on what day it is. And yeah, it feels like survival of the fittest. There's like so many group chats with everyone who's going to Cannes, and everyone's like up at 6 and they're like waiting and they're refreshing the page, and it just feels super intense, especially if you're going with people. Like obviously I went with Naomi, and there's that thing of like, we have to get the same film, we want to watch the films together. And of course you can go and watch a film by yourself, that's absolutely fine, and I'd recommend doing so. But there's also a thing about like, we were going together, we wanted to experience it together, so we were like, we want to make sure we're watching the same films. So then you have like your films that you want to watch, or like you've been keeping an eye on, and you're like, hey, let me book that. And it goes, the premieres go like that. Like the chance of getting a premiere, and by the way, there's also 2 premieres which I wasn't aware of. There's one that's like around 6 p.m. which goes like that, and then you have one that's at 10 p.m. which also goes like that, but you have more chance of getting last minute tickets for the 10 p.m. one rather than the 6 p.m. one. And that all feels super overwhelming. So before you've even gone to Cannes, you're sort of like, oh my goodness, I didn't really get the films that I wanted to watch. I haven't got any films with my friends. I don't know really what to expect or what to do. But honestly, just go with an open mind, because firstly, I think sometimes the films that are like your most highly anticipated films may not be the best thing that you watch there. I mean, my favorite film was Jim Queen. And to be honest, Naomi and I both booked it. It was an animation. It was absolutely brilliant. And it was an animation for it was on our first day, and it just so happened that when we were clicking the tickets, that was like the only one that was left, and it was available to both of us. So we were like, let's just click it, let's watch something together. And we watched it, and genuinely it was my favorite film of the whole festival. I absolutely loved it. So you never know, like keep an open mind. I think that's something to definitely do in Cannes, because there's a lot of different films going on. You have short films, you have like your like big premiere films. Like there's so many things going on that you should just watch everything and anything, and yeah, just like enjoy it. But also there's last minute queues, and we were able to get into, I think it was 2 conferences, by like joining the last minute line. We got into 2 premieres by joining the last minute line. And people also get rid of their tickets, because also when everyone's booking them before, they're like, hey, let me book every single ticket. And then when you get there, obviously you may have booked like 5 films, and you're like, today I can't watch 5 films, or maybe the films overlap. So then you release the tickets, and then if you keep them refreshing, then you'll get a ticket. So honestly, like it's fine. And I know this probably sounds really confusing, and I'm probably not articulating myself super well. So if you do have any questions, let us know. Email us, leave it in the comments, and we can answer it, because I feel like you guys probably do want a whole Cannes video. But honestly, yeah, like my biggest advice for anyone going to Cannes is just like experience it and enjoy it. And I think also it's one of those things that I could tell you everything like to do and not to do, but until you experience it, you don't really know. I think me and Naomi, like we watched so many videos before going out there, sort of like trying to prepare ourselves of what to expect. And then once we were out there, like all of that goes out the window because you just never know what's going to happen. And we were quite lucky that actually a few of our friends were out there, so we ended up meeting them and doing things. I think they were there on a different accreditation, so they had like other networking things that they did. They were new other people, and then we were able to go to different events, and then you meet people, and there's so many events going on that I would say you sort of, if you want to go to events and things like that, you sort of have to network to know what's going on. And everyone is super lovely. Everyone wants to network. Everyone wants to like connect you to somebody else. So I feel like it's a really generous space. I just felt like everyone was on an even playing field, and I really, really like that about it. You just kind of have to go. You have to network. And I think, yeah, by the end of it, we were like, okay, cool. For next year, we know exactly what we need to do, but we had to experience it the first time to know what we want to do next time. So I feel like that's just like my biggest piece of advice is just go. Obviously, ask people who have gone, but network, talk to everybody, connect with people, go to events. You never know what's going to happen. In Act 2, there's also been, I think, a bit of progress on. I know we were saying a lot last year that we wanted to show you guys kind of our lives and what we were getting on, because obviously, as I said, we started this podcast to document our journeys, and then it kind of hit a bit of a pause and we were like, okay, what do we update everyone on? But I think we have, been able to update you on. I think I showed you guys Yellow Line, which was so much fun. I've actually done quite a few plays this year. Obviously, Yellow Line was a short film. Then I did The Worst Possible Nice Thing, which I have to hold my hands up, guys, because I vlogged it. I did. And it was supposed to come out. I've already supposed to have posted it, but I have been very busy over this summer period, which I'm super grateful for. I just haven't had a chance to get it out. So maybe that will come out in Act 3, who knows? We'll see. But yeah, The Worst Possible Nice Thing was a play that I did. Loved every second. It was super hot when we were doing it. We were in a black box theatre and it was like 38 degrees. It was during the heat wave and it was super intense. But it was an amazing experience and I loved it. I also did literally 2 plays back to back, as in I finished one play the day afterwards. I then went straight into rehearsals for the next play. So I did Dangerous Play and The Worst Possible Nice. Dangerous Play and then The Trial. Again, so much fun. Absolutely loved it. Just finished that. And now I'm currently assisting a director, which I'm loving. So yeah, creatively, I feel really blessed this summer. And I always feel like for me, summer is the busiest time. I feel like it's just the industry is booming at the moment. So yeah, I'm super, super grateful for that. But because of that, I didn't get to get the vlog out for you. And I do want that to be something more that I prioritize in Act 3, because as much as I love talking to all of these incredible creatives and people putting on work, I think ultimately it is, my podcast, Naomi's podcast, Panya's podcast. So it would be great to bring you along with stuff that we're doing. Honestly, I've been so grateful and just pleasantly surprised of how many people have actually emailed us this year and reached out, and people who have heard about the podcast and people who want to be a part of this journey and have asked us to come and go to their press nights of their show, or want us to come down to interviews to cast and crew of their show as like a promotional thing. I think obviously as creators we have a lot of friends, and I'm sure some of our friends are watching this, so hey. But yeah, I think it's so beautiful. Like I really do believe that as creatives, like you have to grow like this and not like this. I think like we all grow together, and that's how we grow. And like when one of you wins, you all win. So I just think it's so lovely to see people reaching out and wanting to use this platform, and that's ultimately what we are. Like we're for the stars of tomorrow, let's say, like the next gen. And yeah, like it's just beautiful, and I'm so thankful that you guys want us and respect our work and like our work, and want us to help you guys to show what you have to offer to the world. And I think on that, I just want to say a huge thank you to everybody who has supported us and who has been with us every step of the way from day one. Well, whether you've been with us from day one or, you know, don't know what day this is now, but up to our 2-year anniversary, like wherever you've joined us on our journey, thank you so much, because we couldn't do it without you. And we see the views, we appreciate you guys, and yeah, we love you guys so much. And I'm so excited for Act 3. We have so many things. I keep on thinking we're growing each time, we're growing and we're stepping up. I know Act 2 was like a huge rebrand, because as I said, I think Act 1 we were just kind of finding our way. Act 2, we knew exactly like who we were, what we wanted to show, what we wanted to be. So I feel like Act 3, it's not a rebrand, it's still very much the same Young and Unscripted that you've been seeing, but it's just an enhancement of that. But yeah, I would just say my biggest lesson this year is, you know, doors are going to close, but another one will open. And also just trust in the timing. Sometimes things can feel really overwhelming when you get a no, or when something doesn't go your way, but it's for a reason. And I know at the time it doesn't feel like that reason is clear, and you're just like, oh my goodness, I'm not good. I need to change my career path, but it's all gonna work. And I think genuinely, to sum that up, like the biggest lesson or like the biggest piece of growth for us, like we would not be going to press nights at the Royal Court if the studio hadn't closed. So just allow the loss to come to you, because a win is going to come. As one door closes, another one opens. Keep going, find the new opportunity, pivot, because it's all going to work out. Thank you again for joining us on Act 2. It's been a blast. I love it. I'm grateful for it. I'm grateful for all of you. Grateful for everybody who's reached out to us this year and who has wanted to collaborate with us. I love you all, and I will see you in Act 3. Bye.